What be? Be a log. Is this going to be every time I make a video now? Is this going to be every time? Yeah?
Silly.
Alright everyone, hello, welcome back. And you know what? Earlier this week I was talking a little bit about how you can kind of do magic with anything, anywhere, all the time, right? So, in this case with jewelry. But, obviously as kitchen witches, we know that there's a lot of magic you can do just with food alone. And this is where it's kind of funny, right? A lot of people are always kind of crying and whining about how witchcraft is so bad and you should avoid all these things, but no one can avoid eating food. And for the kitchen witch, one of the most magical bunch of materials, one of the most magical stores is the grocery store. You don't need to go to all those new age hippie stores when Walmart actually has a pretty bitchin' selection of fresh herbs, you know what I mean? But no one ever really considers that. No one ever really remembers the fact that if it came out of the ground in any capacity, you can probably use it in magic. Hell, if it didn't come out of the ground, bones or, you know, anything else like that, it still probably can be used in magic. Hell, if it simply has a color, like, I don't know, the bottle cap on some orange juice, that can still be used in magic. Like, there is absolutely no bounds to what one can do and what tools one can use for witchcraft because of the nature of the tools themselves, which is not to give immense power, but to focus and direct and collect your own power. So with that said, I thought I would go through some really mundane, like normal, everyday cooking videos on TikTok and tell you guys what magic I think could be done with them. Let's take a look. Before we start, I did look at a collection where I typed in a couple things. I typed in healthy recipes, easy recipes, quick recipes, you know, even Slavic recipes at one point, because of course I did. And I just kind of looked around and saw things that, like, first of all, were things that would be reasonable to make, right? So not the, like, 20 billion cheeseburger, grilled whatever mess. Instead, things that, like, one would reasonably find themselves coming home from work and being able to just quickly slurp together in a pot or something. So, let's look.
Here is a dinner I make when I want something satisfying and nourishing, but I also...
Tomatoes, Venus, water, all about protection, love, luck, all these kinds of things, and garlic. Garlic is like one of the most magical things you can use, right? Fire and Mars, all about power. Exorcising bad things away, opening the door for money, for luck, and being very, very, very good at just setting boundaries, right? Setting a barrier. There's a lot of folklore with garlic that's a lot of fun. In Islamic folklore, this is like my favorite garlic folklore, but it's said that when the devil walked, onions and garlic sprung up in his footsteps, which is really fun. Obviously, there's also the old Romanian and Transylvanian and Serbian folktales of putting garlic above your door to keep vampires away, right? Garlic is a long history of being a magic item, an apotropaic item. Apotropaic meaning things that are protective and that ward away evil.
Don't want to spend that much time cooking. I heat up a large pan, I add some olive oil, and then a whole bunch of cherry.
I was just about to say, looks like we got olive oil in there. Olives are also really protective. Olive oil is really good for anointing, right? It's really good for consecrating items, protection, for luck, for prosperity and abundance. Really, really good oil to use. I always prefer olive oil over like regular vegetable oil for that reason, at least magically. But also it's got a really nice flavor that's really good with like fresh things, right? Salads and light frying, right? Not like too high heat frying because it gets really weird and bitter, but gentle frying, all that kind of stuff. It gives this really nice, earthy, kind of bitter, nutty flavor. Very good.
Oil and then a whole bunch of cherry tomatoes and let that cook down a little bit. And then I add some fresh garlic, salt, pepper, Italian seasoning, and some red pepper flakes. Once the tomatoes are really soft.
So even the salt, okay, can be magic. Unless people who are anti-witchcraft are gonna just altogether, like, go full asceticism and refuse to eat or drink or sleep anymore, and then just actually, meet God express delivery style, even the salt has protective properties. And in fact, even in Catholicism and Orthodoxy, is salt a magical item. They don't call it magic, but they'll call it blessed salt, and you can actually sprinkle it in the corners of your house for protection. salt circles that keep spirits out, salt that lines windowsills and wards things away, salt that burns, right? Like salt in the wound, as they say. There's a lot of things you can do with salt that are both baneful and blessing at the same time. And also, right, so we've got the pepper, red pepper flakes too especially, are really good for that kind of peppery fire, lighting a fire under your ass, right? All Mars and fire, all about protection, power, success, luck, and really pulling up that drive, that ambition. Italian seasoning is a mixed bag. There's a lot of stuff in Italian seasoning, so that's quite literally like pick your poison. Whatever you want to do, you can just invoke any of the 1,000,000,002 herbs that goes into your average McCormick seasoning blend, right?
Once the tomatoes are really soft, I add some spinach, and then I add some olive oil and this heart of palm pasta that I usually get at Trader Joe's. I let all that incorporate a little bit, and then I add some cooked chicken for some protein. This is also really good with shrimp too. And that's it. It's really good. It's really easy. It makes 2 servings, so then I'll have it for lunch the next day.
So that's a pretty simple and quick meal. It looks fairly balanced, right? We've got our pasta, we've got our chicken, we've got our vegetables and stuff, that nice blomp of spinach in there. Spinach to me actually is just like each leaf is like a dollar bill, so I think of money when I think of spinach. It's moon water based, so it's also about like emotions, protection, psychic awareness, but also a little bit because of that green color, because of the dollar-like shape. You can use it for money too. So if I had to look at this and say, okay, well, here's what I would do with this, right away, this would be a great date night meal, right? Not every ingredient needs to be used, but if we got Italian seasoning that has oregano and thyme in it, those are all about love and joy and protection. If we've got tomatoes in there and garlic, that means chasing away any bad intentions a partner or lover might have, and only anchoring down the good ones, right? So a lot of protection, a lot of spice, a lot of drive, a lot of passion, but also still warding off like bad intentions, or at least people that aren't good for you, right? That garlic and also that pepper and even that salt, if you use it banefully, can help you figure out if the person you're dating is actually good or not by how they react to, little things, right? It'll reveal things about them and pull them to the surface that they were maybe trying to hide. Think of how, a smoke bomb clears out all these critters that you didn't know were around, right? Even if you have like a house infested with bugs, the fumigation gets deep into the house. So even if things are hiding, eventually they will still get hit with the gas. That's what you can think about with the salt, the garlic, the pepper, that you're literally fumigating and warding off all of these awful things so that they have no choice but to either flee or show up and then be dealt with. So that's a fun double-sided kind of first date feeler meal, in my opinion. That's kind of what I would do with that. It's a flavor profile most people would like. It's simple, it's quick, it's nothing too complicated. I would go the extra mile to just make pasta out of the box. Something about pre-made pasta gives me such insane ickies. Don't do that. No, that would ward me away. If you wanted to ward me away, serve me pre-cooked pasta out of a bag. I'm gone. Goodbye. No, honestly though, great meal, generally inoffensive for anyone's palate. Really easy to make, really quick, still nutritious and delicious, and very good for a first date feeler. Very good. Alright, how about this one? We're just getting into it, I guess. Okay, alright, so right away, hold on, I have to like back up, because I'm sure, I saw a cucumber, I saw an orange bell pepper, I saw 2 medium avocados, corn. So again, a lot of vegetables, right? And we've got kind of mayonnaise, mustard, ooh, okay, fun. Nice little dressing here. Lemon. Okay, honey. Salt again, thinking. I mean, it looks good, I would eat it. But now here's the thing, right? So not only do we have a lot of stuff that we can choose to work with in the salad itself, again, remember, you don't have to use every single item because some of these associations kind of clash together, but we have the cucumber and the lettuce, which are all very watery, right? And they've got a lot of associations of like you know, the moon or Venus, all have to do with emotion and healing, intuition. We've got corn, which is definitely all very much like sun, kind of earthy fire. It's a grain, so it represents abundance, right? It represents courage, confidence, power. And then we've got that dressing, which had a lot of fun things. We had apple cider vinegar, we had mustard, right? We had lemon. I personally, when I think of mustard, the first thing that comes to my mind is Jesus talking about the mustard seed. With someone with faith the size of a mustard seed can tell the mountains to get up and walk, or a tree to jump into the river. Like, so what I got here really is, I'm thinking you take the lettuce and the corn and the cucumber as the base for connecting with feelings, clarifying things, right? Pulling out impurities, giving oneself a soft bed to lie on emotionally and spiritually, and then of course also giving oneself a good sturdy stalk of confidence, a nice big plant, right, like corn is, the abundance, prosperity, and confidence to really walk in one's power. And that dressing complements that, because apple cider vinegar is corrosive. If there's anything like, you know, insecurity wise, or any thing about yourself that makes you kind of totter and like not really stick to that confidence, apple cider vinegar can erode it away. Likewise, mustard can be a sign to have faith in yourself, and lemon too can cut the nonsense. As we talked about a lot, lemon juice is more than just purifying. It cuts grease, it cuts things that you don't want. So that plus apple cider vinegar, that's a lot of acid, that's a lot of corrosion, and that's going to really not only cut through things you maybe are struggling with, but also will wipe the slate clean with that nice lemony scent, purify, and remind you to be a friend to yourself, right? Because lemons are very much about friendship too. So now we're going to get into some recipes that aren't by people who look like they live in the gym, but those are things like air fryer pizza rolls. If you think you can't do magic with silly things like this, you're so mistaken. Okay, watch. I see something green on it. We're already in a good... Okay, alright, hold on. Wait, never mind. We got white bread. But you know what? Hey, that's fine. White bread, pizza sauce, mozzarella cheese. Okay. You just stick them in the air fryer like so. Brush with more pizza sauce. Okay. And then we're clearly topping with like probably parsley or something. In which case, right? So that was as bare bones as you could get. That is like just a step above, well, maybe a couple steps above, going to the store and getting some like Tostitos pizza rolls and doing magic with that, which you could do, by the way. But here's the thing, right? White bread is still made out of wheat, and wheat is still really good for fertility, wealth, and abundance. Pizza sauce itself, again, right? It's red. It's tomato based. So there could be some love in here, I guess, but it could also be, namely, working that protection angle, right? The Venus and the water. Venus is a sign of aesthetics and beauty, right? So maybe we have this pizza roll today, but we're turning this into a prosperity spell, especially with the cheese on top of it, right? Cheese, another sign of abundance. We're taking the cheese, the wheat, and the Venus ruled tomato and saying, goofy little, but still probably delicious looking pizza rolls today, something more luxurious and extravagant tomorrow, right? We can do a money spell with these pizza rolls just with wheat, cheese, and tomato. This one's just called quick 10-minute pasta. So I'm assuming there's not like a crazy amount of stuff going on here, but let's see. Alright, we got pasta, step 1. Okay. Olive oil. What are they? Red pepper flakes. We've already got something here. And we've got... Okay. Hold on, she's saying things. I didn't realize she was saying things. What are you saying? A couple of spices. What are the spices? Oh, in the caption. Hold on. Fresh garlic, shallots when I have them. Who uses shallots? Okay, but or onion, red pepper, dry pasta, herbes de Provence. Herbes de Provence is a French blend. There's a lot you can do with that if you look at that. Hold on. Got a computer right in front of me. So this is made out of fennel, marjoram, rosemary, tarragon, and thyme. So that is a wonderful blend for, like, you can also throw stuff in there like oregano, mint, lavender even. So it's a really good, like, protective, purifying, and love-based spice blend, right? So that's really good to know, because if we go over here again with that 10-minute pasta, herbs de Provence, garlic powder, onion powder, seasoning, So once again, right, garlic, onion, they're always going to be there in most of these recipes. You can choose to invoke them or not. This to me is like after work quick pasta, right? This is like, I just want to de-stress, especially if you have herbs de Provence with lavender in it. This is a pick-me-up dish, right? All of those things we just talked about, we can just focus on the herbs alone here in that herb blend, and we can think about, you know, marjoram and thyme for love and joy and psychic enhancement. We can think of the red pepper for power, for energy, right? We can think of the lavender for peace and calm. We can think of the fennel, the, you know, tarragon, also for those bright, fresh notes to revitalize us after a long day. All of that in a pasta dish. Yeah, that's pretty good. As this person is doing, just chilling after work, watching Real Housewives, right? That was a blind reaction. I didn't guess that that would be it, but we can already see, right, what the original creator wants out of the meal with how they kind of show at the end. And we can see how our magic intentions match that with the herbs and stuff that are used, right? So everything has that synchronicity. It all lines up. Whether or not people realize it, I feel like everyone's putting some kind of energy into what they do, and that influences how things come out. That's why people say that people who are in a bad mood cook bad food, right? So as you can see, it doesn't matter if the meal is like a super organic, like Whole Foods sponsored kale salad with one single shaving of carrot on it, and it doesn't matter if the meal is just a more complicated pizza roll that you could get in a freezer bag. Whatever food you are making, across all spectrums of difficulty levels, health levels, and whatever else, you can make magic out of it if you just know what herbs you're using. And this is why I say application matters. It doesn't matter if, you know, this recipe book, this witchy cookbook will tell you that, like, this recipe means love. If you don't know why, if you can't pick out, oh, it's because of the oregano, the tomato, and this and that, you're never going to be able to break it down and redo it yourself. When you can, though, you can look at any possible meal you find on Pinterest, anywhere else, and you can go ahead and make it magic. So I hope this was a fun little, you know, experiment together, a little thought experiment, and I hope you guys have some more inspiration when you go perusing your next bunch of meals on Pinterest, TikTok, wherever you are. That said, I will see you guys next time for some more chats, and yeah, see you around.